Perhaps I hooked you with another thumbnail, or maybe no one will watch this video. But today I want to talk about some eye exercises that actually corrected my vision. A little bit of a backstory. In 2021, I was in an accident where I was hit by a truck and unfortunately broke my fall with my head. Trigger warning, here are some images. If you don't want to see these images, you can skip to this timestamp. Okay, so anyway, it was really bad. And the aftermath of that accident left me with a lot of questions. I saw a couple doctors. Unfortunately, I couldn't get into a neurologist until much later. But the doctors would tell me things like, we don't know. We don't know if you'll walk again. We don't know if you'll have seizures. We don't know what's going to happen. And I was getting a whole lot of confusion about all of my symptoms. Unfortunately, the brain is very complicated, and we don't know a whole lot about how it works. So I was left with all of these unanswered questions and all of these symptoms that I didn't know what to do with. And one of the most obvious superficial symptoms, not to minimize the situation, but one of the most obvious ones were my eye muscles in one of my eyes, my right eye, had atrophied. And what that means, if you're not familiar, the muscles shortly weren't responding. So it's not that they didn't exist, they weren't functioning properly. And it was specifically the one that would allow my eye to move with the other one. This is what I looked like for quite some time. And just to kind of add insult to injury, so it was really bad. I perform for a living. So what I do is I play music in a cool little band that I like in Las Vegas. And I didn't want, it's not so much that I care what I look like. Obviously, I look like a little bit of a hobo. I wore this outfit in the last video. But I didn't. One thing that I care about a lot is making eye contact with people. It's hard for me because I don't really know where to look when I'm filming this by myself. But I like to make awkward eye contact with people. And I can't if my eyes look like this. So in this determination, I developed some eye exercises. I figured if it's the muscle that's causing me the problem, all I have to do is strengthen the muscle, right? I'd like to remind you I have no background in science, no background in health, anything like that. So please always make choices with your life at your own risk. I'm going to share the thing that worked for me. I cannot personally recommend this. I am not a doctor. I just know what worked for me. As I was developing these, I attacked it with the thought that that only makes logical sense. My muscle isn't functioning, so let me just work the muscle out like you would at the gym. So here are the things that helped me strengthen my eyes back. Obviously, they're not so bad. I do still have a little bit of a lag in my right eye, but I don't look as crazy as I did before. I still can't cross my eyes, which is kind of annoying. I've only ever been able to cross one. Anyway, here are the things that helped me. I'm hoping that as I get through my degree in neuroscience, I'll get to a point where I'll be able to say, this is specifically what happened, this is what I did, this is why it helped, and maybe provide it as advice. But remember, as it stands right now, I am not authorized to give any type of advice. I'm not qualified to give any type of advice. So please try these things at your own risk. What this helped me with is headaches. It helped me with this lazy eye that I had developed. And a little bit of vision. I was having trouble with eye tracking. It also helped me with that. So here we go, let's dive in. So these exercises are exercises you can really do anywhere. I personally do them about 15 minutes a day or until I experience any discomfort. If you ever experience any discomfort while you're doing any type of exercises, you should take a little bit of a breath. Stop for a second, figure out what hurts, and maybe go a little easier on yourself. And I had to do that with my eyes as well as I was working them back out. I started with 2 or 3 minutes. I went up to 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So now I'm up to 15 minutes. I haven't done them in about 6 months. Recently went back to a doctor to check out my progress with other things, and he noticed that I have palsy in my right eye. So I'm revisiting this. I'm starting it again. I fixed it once. I can fix it again. You're going to want to find a space that has, it really could be anything. You could take a Post-it note. And just take a Post-it note. Draw a dot on it. If you take a Post-it note, you're going to want to draw a dot. If you take a piece of paper, you're going to want to draw a dot. Something that you can actually focus on and you can see. Maybe draw it in marker, something like that. If you have paintings on the wall, that's perfect. I originally used paintings, and I graduated to Post-it notes when I didn't have those paintings in front of me. Pretty much what you're looking for is, here's an example. Here's my room, right? You're looking for points that kind of look like sharp edges, or they look like something that's very easily seen, like a color change or something like that. When you identify those points, you want to find another one that is a good amount of space away. The goal is to find a space where you'll be able to see something like an angle or a very specific structure like a dot all the way to one side, and then without moving your head, you should be able to see another one all the way to the other side. It's very important that you don't move your head, because the goal here is specifically to mess with your muscles. I'm probably going to look like a weirdo doing this on camera, but it's fine for the sake of healing, right? So the goal is as far over to one side as you can, as far over to the other side as you can without moving your head, right? The next one is without moving your head, you also want to mark or find spots, whether it's the angle of your ceiling and the angle of your floor or whatever, up and down as well. So you'll find one all the way up, you'll find one all the way down, again without moving your head. And now that you have found these 4 spots or marked them, remember, you can just do it with a piece of paper and some tape, right? To the extent of your eye movements. So like to where you feel a stretch, not to where you can't see anymore, but to where you feel a stretch. You'll have one here, you'll have one here, you'll have one up, you'll have one down. Once you have those things marked, you're going to take the first couple minutes just to focus, right? So if you center your head forward and then look to one side, 1, 2, 3, 4, look to the other mark, 3, 4, look up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Oh, I can feel it. My right eye's a little bit lazy. Now what that accomplishes is just the 4 count. Do it a couple times so that you get used to the movement, because the very next goal is to hold that spot until you can actually physically see either the angle or the mark. Whatever that mark is that you're using, you should be able to physically see it. So you can linger there for more than 4 seconds if you'd like. So my right eye is the one that's slow. In your visual field, it's kind of backwards, and also my camera is mirrored, so this is not going to be helpful on video. But when you look, for example, to the right, you're going to hold this until you can actually see that mark rather clearly. And if you wear glasses or contacts, take a moment, make sure you can actually physically see that mark. Focus on it for a second. And then release to the front. Do the same thing on the other side. Wait until you can physically see it. And if you notice your eyes are jetting around, or you're distracted, or your attention span just isn't working, just hold it for a second. If you feel any discomfort, let it go. Return back to center. Close your eyes for a second if you have to. Roll them around if it makes you feel a little better, right? Again, please never do anything that you're not comfortable with, and I'm not a medical professional. Don't do this if you think that it's going to hurt you. Again, just what helped me, right? So now we've done left, we've done right. You're also going to do up. Make sure that you actually focus on either the crease in the ceiling or the place that you marked, and and then down. Make sure you actually focus. Now the goal is to do this daily until you're able to do that rather quickly. And you might find that an angle takes a little bit longer than the other. Right? Now I can go, if I were to, my marks aren't over here, but I can find some. So I'm going to use the angle of the corner of my room here because I can see it. I'm going to use my lamp to the left. I'm going to use the tip of my hat because that's all I got here. And then the floor. There's a mark on the floor, right? So if I wait until I can actually focus, here's kind of how fast I can go. So center, hat, wall. Oof, that one's hard because my eye doesn't quite move the right way. Okay, floor, left. Left is easy, hat, right. Oh, that's the one that's hard. So I'm gonna hold it until I can actually focus. If my eyes cross, sometimes my eyes cross when I do this. My eyes cross, I'll center, go back, down, over. And you want to spend like as many minutes as you can doing this per day. It's important that you repeat it because eventually what this does is it strengthens muscles. I think. Theory. It's my theory. I think it strengthens muscles because my eyes look fine. Mostly. Slight palsy is much better than this. Right? Now, once you get done with those 4, up, down, left, right, another thing that you can do, the next thing that I did, I'm going to start wording it like that so I don't get in trouble for giving advice, right? But another thing that I did is I started doing, if you imagine that your pupils are ice cream scoops, right? I would do up, to the right, down, to the left, up, to the right, right? And you just kind of do in a circle and then the other way. And again, repeat that like 3 or 4 times. I would repeat that about 3 or 4 times. I'm not very good at this. It sounds like I'm giving advice. Womp womp. Eventually, I hope that I get better at making content because this just feels really awkward. I know I look like a crazy person, but as you can see, my eyes are a little bit better, and I hope that this helps you as well. Yep. Post-it notes are really effective because you can draw little silly things. You can draw like a cat, you can draw a dot, you can draw a penguin, whatever you feel like drawing. Just make sure that it's at as far out as you can possibly see. Like stretch, but don't hurt yourself. You know? What I noticed when I did this is it didn't help me right away. And honestly, it made my headaches a little bit worse for the first week. For the first week that I was doing it, I was like, dang, this really isn't helping. But I kept going because I was so determined to not have a lazy eye. I don't want to be on stage looking at 2 people and then it's just awkward. So my headaches got a little bit worse. But then before I even noticed it, I was like, wait, it's been weeks since I've had a headache. And also my eyes slowly started looking a little better. So again, this is just a theory. This is experimental. I am not a doctor. I am not qualified for any advice. I feel like I've overcompensated and said that a bunch of times, but it's really important to me that no one just blindly takes my advice. We're at this point in time right now, kind of in the world where you've got like the internet therapists, like the YouTube therapists and stuff that aren't actually qualified. People are taking advice. Remember, nobody from nowhere land. All I know is the things that helped me after a severe brain trauma. All I know is my experience. So please find things that work for you. Ask your doctor if you're unsure. That's all I got. Talk to you later.